What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It is I, James, readoptionagency.com, 22 years selling full-time on eBay. And welcome to the advanced reseller videos on YouTube. Not your pay-to-play classes. This is beyond pay-to-play classes, all right? We're way beyond that here. So if you're in that mindset, you may be offended by a lot of things said in my videos. Maybe I need to put that disclaimer at the beginning from now on. If you're a pay-to-play student, you probably will not understand a lot that's talked about here. And you will lash out in negative ways because you just don't understand, instead of listening and thinking for yourself. So we are at Thursday. We are at 1:23 p.m. So yesterday was filled with server errors. I think I ended with like 35 different server failures yesterday throughout my day. That's been the most by far from any day in the past. My thought and hope while we got deep into the day was, well, maybe that's them changing the server. And I thought that before, and it did turn out that way. But today I've had no server problems. The only problems I have had is trying to accept offers. So that problem is still ongoing, which has been for 2+ months consistently, but then off and on for the past 2 years. So that's still an issue going on. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna address a couple of things now. First and foremost, I think a lot of you guys know me by now, and you know who I am, and you know what I'm about, and et cetera, et cetera. Well, just like a comment post I made today on Facebook and YouTube, I've been holding myself back because I've been, I don't know who out there experiences this kind of thing, but I've always tried to be a better person than the day before. And I am the first to admit, I grew up being very selfish. You can blame that on whatever you want, but it was the way I did things, so technically it's my choices I did. So I've been hard on myself probably for the last, 6-7 years, trying to keep myself out of that way of life, that thinking, but not realizing I'm not really there anymore. I've got too much experience between then and there, and I have a conscience. So if I do screw something up or say something that might hurt somebody's feelings, and it's not with malicious intent, it's just me on my trail. And you're either coming along, you're viewing it, you're moving on. One of three things. So whichever you are, be a part of it. But I'm realizing, I got to stop caring and holding myself accountable for stuff that's long gone and long past. Who cares? Not just that, stop trying to live up to something that doesn't exist. I don't know what a perfect James is. I don't know what a 100% nice all the time James is. To me, that's a person who doesn't exist, because that's a person who will not tell the whole truth. And that person doesn't exist. And as we know, in reality, truth hurts. And it's not necessarily a negative thing, but it can hurt feelings and can seem selfish to bring something up when is there really a reason to. But so I think if I just take everything I've learned throughout my life and just, the past is the past, and not care if I screw up on a video in the future, I think most of you will know that it's not with malicious intent by now. And if you're newer and you don't know that, just go back through my videos or ask, was that malicious? No, not really. Like a lot of people take things on the other side of the camera. They take it with what their experience is in that moment in life and past. Like yesterday, kept getting comments like being like shut up, James. Like as if I'm miserable or something yesterday when I was talking, and I was nowhere near miserable. I mean, I have no stress in my life. I have nothing to worry about. I was just in that thinking mode, like, what should I do? And I think any good business person's always going to think things and like, what can I do? Because if you keep your mind open to processes and things, you're going to understand that you may trip over something that's right in front of your face that you never saw and go, yes, I'm going to do that. So my mind was all just in that mode yesterday of, I had a whole bunch of new information coming in with that store compared with the other store, and just trying to weed out what should I do. So it wasn't like miserable. I wasn't upset. I wasn't mad. It was just more of speaking the truth, which can hurt people's feelings, and so on and so forth. But I saw a statement today, not on my videos, but somebody made a comment that eBay doesn't hide product or listings. It's all the seller's fault. And the comment to that reminded me of a situation I was in, where you could search something on eBay and it not come up, but search the exact same thing on Google and there it is on eBay. And the person brought this up as a comment, and then another comment said, no, it's the seller's fault because they didn't do something right. I'm just like, huh? Like if I type in an exact title on eBay and on Google, it shows up that it's on eBay via Google, but won't show up on eBay via eBay. How is that a seller's fault? So that made me go down this road of thinking for this video. And that thought is, and kind of I was alluding to it yesterday, is not everything that you are sold in those pay-to-play programs are the truth. And let me tell you, and I'm not going to say names here because they've asked me not to, but I've had 3 different people in the past, within the past 2 years, since I've been reporting all these problems on the website, who charge for classes, who've reached out to me and said, hey, don't say nothing publicly, but I see what you're seeing. I watch your videos and I am agreeing with you, et cetera, et cetera. They don't want their names out there. Why? Because it doesn't play into their program. Now, for me, it doesn't sit well because I'm a truthful guy. But if they're trying to motivate people and keep them positive and make it look like it's, which you should always check yourself first and foremost. But if you're not giving the people a 100, you could give somebody directions, but if you don't tell them about the roadblock and it's going to take them 12 more extra hours to get to their destination because you did not warn them of this roadblock, then you're really doing them a disservice. But that disservice helps nobody except the teacher's pocketbook, because that means they stay longer. And to me, that's kind of shady. So on one hand, I get it. On one hand, I don't agree with it. So you got a lot of these people out there who will come and kind of disagree with what somebody sees going on via the website. And chances are they've got 2,000 items they've been selling for a year. And because they paid somebody and this somebody's an expert and tells them A, B, and C, well, then guess what? They think A, B, and C is the gospel, 100% truth, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, when in fact, their teacher, A, B, and C, reached out to me and said, hey, you're right, I see what you see, etc., but don't tell nobody I said this. To me, it's a disservice to the community, but who am I? Who am I? That's why I said this is an advanced video. This is beyond those people who are listening to A, B, and C, because I give you A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'll give you every letter of the freaking alphabet, because I'm not about to set somebody up for failure, no matter what the roadblock is. If I see a roadblock, I'm going to warn you about the roadblock. You do as you choose with that information. Plain and simple. So yeah. You got the real James coming back, who's not going to care about hurting anybody's feelings. Oh, no. Be nice. Nice James just went to bed. All right. He's taking a nap right now. He may be back later. I don't know. I'll leave a note for him to get back with you if you do have a problem, but he might just be asleep for a little bit longer. Who knows? Anyway, I'm just going to speak what's on my mind all the time. It doesn't matter. Because when I beat myself up too much about trying to be a nicer person, I'm not doing anybody a better service by doing that. I'm just not. So if I screw up in something, I got a conscience. I'll be like, oops, sorry. Didn't mean it. Wasn't malicious. Let's move on. So I'm going to let you know about every little nick and cranny, detail, pothole, everything along your journey from reselling, because I've been from A to Z several times. And probably a lot more times than your teachers. Well, actually, I know a lot more times than your teachers. So may not make as much money because I don't have employees or anything, but that's not the gig I'm running. Today we are at 130. I'm at $328. Yesterday, $455, my lowest day in the last 31 days, by about $25. So yesterday was a stinker with all those problems on the website. So it looks like today so far is rebounding. What it looks like to me though is it looks like we've talked about this before. And again, this is something that somebody who's listening to teachers that aren't telling them everything's not going to understand. Patterns. It feels like an indexing style day because a lot of the media I sold is all from one area. That means it was all listed about the same time. 25 items sold, 18 organic, 7 promoted. So my promoted is actually down a little bit, which is another kind of indication of things indexing. Because if my media is indexing first, that's not promoted because it's all lower dollar stuff and I don't promote it. So it makes sense that those would be a lot higher today than the promoted. And I predict the evening time, if I don't start getting errors and what have you, that the promoted will pick up and there'll be more clothing and hats and stuff that sell in the evening hours. And that will be a part of that indexing feel pattern I know I've experienced many times over, and would kind of make sense with all the problems that happened yesterday and the shutdown overnight. So, and there's another thing that a lot of people it hurts the feelings of. They can't believe that maintenance shutdown would happen overnight and hurt somebody's sales. When on days that we know do their maintenance, it has the same effect. So, but if you're in a class and they're all about keeping it, it's on you, it's positive, you're not going to expect to hear that kind of stuff. So you're not going to believe it or feel it or understand it or comprehend it or whatever you want. So my word of advice is keep an open mind to everything. Figure out what people are good at and listen to them via what they're good at. For some people, it's hard to smell BS, and I get that. Thankfully for me, and I think the way I grew up is I can smell BS a mile away. That's why there's just certain YouTubers that I won't interact with, won't have nothing to do with, because I know they're just not. They're not who they portray to be, even though they pretend to be. They don't. That's another story. But then so if I'm talking about somebody, I feel 100% genuine about them, and those are the people I will talk about and bring up and try to help along and help grow their channels, etc., etc. So, but do what I can to do. But we've got a nice little array. Nothing new, nothing sold on the new store yet. I think I moved maybe 30 items, pieces of clothing from the old store over to the new store yesterday. That's going to be a long, slow, ongoing process because I got to keep just listing, period. So that's just another step thrown in whenever I feel like it. as of right now anyway. But yeah, that's where we're at. Thanks everybody for the response to that last video. When I was making it, I'm like, you know what? I don't care how many people these words are going to hurt. They're going to be mad at me. They're going to say, oh, it's your items. Because those people clearly don't see that just, last week I sold 84 items in one day, or, been selling. I went from 17 to 30 up to 50 to 80 items a day, but it's the same items I'm selling. And so there's just a lot of, if you don't follow every day, you're not going to be connected with the thing. So those comments stand out as they're just not connected with what we talk about here, in my view. And then there's ones who do, and they give a nice little, could be this, could be that. A lot of things with the server, like there were several comments across the board about the server, like I asked, but some of them said my theory holds no water, but then other ones said that it seems exact, and they both talked like they know what they're talking about. So whether they do or not, I don't know. But so I still don't have a good feel on the server side of things, because I've gotten one end to the other end and everything in between. So yeah, so let's go through some questions and comments. Haven't done that in a while, and I'm getting back in the fiery mood. I got to get myself back into, like, my whole life I've been just driven. I've had that fire rage and just like go, go, go. Sure, there was casualties along the way. There was people I had to say sorry to. There's people that I probably should have said sorry to a lot sooner. But you know what? That's life. Nobody has life figured out. And at the end of the day, we're going to be the only ones laying in that coffin. I mean, do I care if there's one person standing beside the coffin crying or 50? Not really. Because as long as I went to that coffin smiling and knowing I've tried to be the best me that I could be and help as many people along the way as I could, there are going to be casualties. I can't worry about that. If I inattentionally do something, I just apologize and move on. When people wrong me, I've been wronged by many friends that I still consider friends because they've apologized. And we're talking deep stuff here. We're not just talking about the occasional F you or something, So things about lying to a past girlfriend to make her think something negative that's not 100% true, just so that they can date them. But then I still consider that person a friend because they apologized and was upfront about it. So that's just who I am. So that's the way I need to expect other people to be. And if they can't be, I can't do nothing about it. So, yeah. So that is what it is. Yes, absolutely. Give it up. Not sure what that means. Oh, does this prove all older eBay stores are doomed? Yes, absolutely. Give it up. The Lego bug. With Mario. These are intentional errors. You have to understand, when eBay sold out to foreigners, they became your competition. I'm not even sure where to go with that one. This one's all into theories here. And tech support, the same group that's do malicious dark web stuff. Well, that's theories I'm not going to get into, and I don't want nothing to do with. So I'm going to pass up on that. I left a comment in the last 2 hours with a software solution, and I swear I left one within the hour of you uploading your video yesterday, and they keep disappearing. They continue to get deleted. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't deleted one thing on these videos. And I asked the person maintaining for me, and they have not deleted anything on these videos, on yesterday's video, the last one you guys are talking about here. Nothing's been deleted. and it's not in held for review. The last one that's in held for review is 3 weeks ago. And it goes back 1 month. So YouTube is famous for just, I don't know, I guess they think something shouldn't be said. I don't know, it's weird. Facebook's been weird too with that. And I think it's the whole AI crap. I made a joke the other day and they took it down. And it wasn't even like a bad joke. And so this whole freedom of speech thing being impeded is a bunch of BS in my opinion, but the only way you can fight that is just not support the platforms, right? So I have been saying that eBay's been hiding listings since last year. Yeah, I think we all have. Then like my comment earlier, there's people who just do not believe it and say it's 100% the seller and the items they sell. And that's just the lazy way out. Or you don't want to think that your money's going to waste, so you're going to believe whoever you pay who told you that. So, because if you went against what they said, then guess what? You're going to feel like you wasted your money. So, but if you only knew. If you only knew. See, here's one. I think you said it. They are changing servers. This takes time, and there is growing pains with it. There are growing pains. Time will tell. See, yeah, I mean, that's what it feels like, but another person said the way I explained it didn't hold water, so I still have no clue. And I will always, if I have no clue, I will always say I have no clue. Just trying to figure it out. But the thing about now and before is I don't waste my day trying to figure it out. It's a moment, and then it's gone, and then I'm on to the next thought. If I went and got tested, I'd probably have ADHD because I just move from one thing to another consistently, constantly. Or I just don't care enough to think it through like that. Because the things that I do really care about that bother me, I will think it to no end. But the only way to know is to do it. Think of it as restarting your computer or smartphone. You are simply hitting the clear cache and getting the bugs out. About moving stuff over to a new store. So, June says, I have been ending and selling similar on everything in my store. I do change the price by 25 cents. This past week, I sold 10 old stale items at a slightly increased price. Yeah, I've done that many of times. I only have 5,800 listings and am doing this with 200 to 400 listings, and I am not changing just one category. I am also cross-posting to Mercari and Poshmark. I am selling new listings as well as old listings. I have had a big slowdown, but never zero sales. I know I need to find better items. I could do this test with a 25-year-old eBay account and have often thought about it. Your results are interesting. I'm not tech savvy either, but there's definitely something going on. On another note, I have found if you open an active listing and click a photo, you can save it to an image instead of getting that dumb website link. Okay, I have found that if you open an active listing and click the photo, you can see that's what I did, and it goes to that stupid website link thing. Maybe I'll try something different. I've had two stores. One of them said, when I have had two stores, one of them sat dormant for a couple of years and one established. I started putting stuff on the inactive store again, and views and sales exploded over there for a little while. It eventually slowed down and was just like my other store. Yeah, that's a lot of people have been bringing that up too, and that's probably wouldn't surprise me either. So I think eBay gives better placement to newer stores to get them up and running and encourage new sellers. That is just my opinion and based on my experience. Yeah, and you're not the only one who thinks that. So that is a lie. a theory, a nice theory that's out there too, over many people's opinions. So, which could make sense, and which would make a lot of sense with pushing older stores down. And here's another one. Remember the new bump push from eBay when you move them to new stores? Maybe move to new story, watch those items after 30 days and see how they are. Then many 6 months later. Like a lot of the stuff I moved over yesterday, they had 0 views in my old store. They ranged from being there for 7 years and sell similar over times, many times, to some being 3 months old, because I did like a box by box thing. Actually, it's probably more like, it's probably 9 months old, because I think I ended and sold similar ones. And a lot of them already have watchers, and I've already sent offers out on them. So, who knows? Was that upstairs, or was that him in there? Nobody's here, that's why I was like, it appears eBay is distributing sales to new stores. If an old store that is established like yours is making $200 less daily, eBay knows you're still going to stay and deal, while new stores, especially sellers, will get that distribution sent their way. It's possible, and I've thought about that. Do you have any items I haven't sold within the last year? Oh yeah, I've got many, because I've got slow-moving items. If so, move those to the new store. All right. Well, let's go ahead and do some shipping here. I think I've ranted enough, talked enough, spewed my mouth enough. Oh, we got Miss Lachey. Just popped in 1 minute ago and says, James, weirdly, I'm only getting activity from my state and 2 neighboring states, which is almost none in the last 48 hours. Yeah, that whole geo thing, location thing, man, it's just, I don't like it. I don't like it at all, because you're not giving everybody, I don't know. I mean, I get it if there's so many items. I kind of get it to spread it out. I get it. But there's also I just don't like the control factor. I like the world of the strong survive. And just like society, it seems like eBay has gone that way, where you have to basically hand feed the people who don't want to do any damn thing by taking away from the people who are working. That's working hard. And that's what it feels like. The same thing. If you know what I mean. Just being real. That's all. All right. Let's see what we're going to ship out today. I think I got everything pulled except the one that was just paid. Nope, I did forget this guy, this little stuffed plush rooster for $15. He's in there, so Adrian can get him. Everything else I think I got. Purchase shipping labels. Let's go. I expect her to start getting up in about 8 minutes going, it's time for dinner or lunch. They always seem to know about the exact time when it's time to eat. All right, first up, we got this Care Bear. Hi, how are you today? I hope James didn't offend anybody out there too much, because I want you to know I love you. I do. And so does James, and he appreciates all your comments and all your likes on the video. So please hit that like button For God's sake, hit that like button. And don't forget, James has got the ego-inflated trading card coming out tomorrow called The Great Reseller Life with a picture of him on it. Make sure you buy one and feed the ego. Hey, that wasn't very nice. It's true. No, it's not true. Yes, it is. No, it's not true. Stop saying. You didn't see that. I'm being nice to the Care Bear. Sold him for $17.50. I'm worth more than that. How dare you? Ah! Don't mind me. I'm gonna put you in a bag instead of a box. I hope you suffocate before you get to New Mexico. Don't be saying that. That's mean. I don't care anymore if I'm mean to a pink bear. Don't you fall. All right. 9, 10, 12, 6-ish. Going to Eleanor. Eleanor will take care of you. Unless she's evil and she tears the heads off teddy bears. Then you're in trouble. No, don't say that. She's going to make plush bear soup out of you. No, don't let me go. Next up, we've got Leslie Carter. Screw Leslie Carter. Hey, shut up over there. Get me out of this bag. No. We got Leslie Carter. Single CD sold for $7 with a sticker. Headed to Utah as opposed to you short. Doink, doink, doink. Snoochie noochies. Kelly. Kelly. Get her off me. Nope, she's got to sit there. We got Depressed Mode. Depressed Mode CD sold for $7, headed to Greenbrook, New Jersey. See, she's moving. Is she moving because of my voices? She might be like, what the hell is he doing over there? You okay, baby girl? You okay? You all right? She's like, you scared me. Carlos. Carlos, please don't be depressed. Listening to Depressed Mode. That's just the one band I can't. Well, one of like Depeche Mode and like The Cure. Like I never could get into them. I just couldn't do it. It just wasn't my feels. Wasn't my feels. We got this women's Roxy cap. Sold for $10.50. Headed to Iowa. Wasn't my feels. That's probably the best way to describe music that you're just not into. It's just not your feels. Because music is a feeling. It's emotional. And every generation has like a different set of emotions. Like kids these days are offended by everything. Whereas Generation X, we can joke about anything and everything and not take offense to it. Abby. Maybe that's the warning I put at the beginning of all my videos. This video is conducted by a Gen X. Please watch it at your what's the word I'm looking for? Your discretion. Please watch at your discretion. A Treasury of Folk Music CD. A Time Life. treasury of folk music. Sold for $9, headed to Dover, Delaware. Bud. Bet you his daddy liked beer. Next up, we've got LL Bean Wins t-shirt. Sold for $9.50, headed to Fairview, Tennessee. Cause I'm free to do what I want any old time. Six. Who sings that song? PL. What does that stand for? PL. Cause I'm free to do what I want. The Paladinos? CD sold for $7, headed to Willow Spring, North Carolina. I was looking at places in North Carolina side of the Smoky Mountains because I always stay in cabins, on the Tennessee side. I'm like, maybe I need to find one of those real small towns. Like I saw Maggie Valley. Seems to be a nice little popular town on the other side of the Smoky Mountains. I'm like, maybe I should find a place to stay around there and check out something different next time. Maggie Valley. Charles. I think they just had a mini truck show there a month or so ago. I think that's where it first popped on my radar. We've got Back in Black. I hit the sack. I'm not wrong, I'm glad to be back. Yes, I'm getting loose around the noose that's kept me hanging around. $7, headed to Kissney Park, Illinois. Kissna Park? Cisna Park. Something like that. Back in Black. I hate the sack. Linda. What's going on? Next up, we've got some Nike Air Max Silver. Sold for $10.70, headed to Mansfield, Texas. So yes, my the first in the reseller series comes out tomorrow, and I am starting to work on next month's trading card. It will be a inspired card. So we're going to see if you can guess who the card's inspired by. And it's going to be titled The Bin Thrifter. Betty. Oh, Black Betty, bang lamb. Oh, Black Betty, bang lamb. Oh, we've got a UK. We've got a Slovenia. We've got an Australia. It's about time we get some international. UK. All right. Yesterday was 0 internationals. Remove those 4. Good to see you coming back for more. Next up, the Grassroots. Temptation Eyes. Sold for $7, headed to Parma, Ohio. What you doing, baby girl? What you doing, baby girl? That's Patrick. Next up, we've got Twister. DVD sold for $6.30, headed to California. That new Twister movie just looks like too much. Like, I forget what Fast and the Furious I stopped watching. 5 or 6, I don't remember. But just because the CG was just so over the top fake, I just couldn't take it no more. And that's what that new Twister movie feels like to me. Watching the trailer. Stephanie. Oh. A piece of tape on my finger. Next up, we've got Darkness Blu-ray. I think this is another one from that yard sale score. Sold for $9, headed to Lady Lake, Florida. Drew it is. Next up, we got Jimmy Buffett. Headed to North Cape May, New Jersey. Sold for $6.50. Edward. Jigsaw, 45 record, sold for $6.30, headed to Howard Beach, New York. I think the thing that kind of woke me up today, thinking about just letting all that stuff go, is I had a weird dream last night. So in this dream, my mom was in it, and I'm a very picky eater. So if people make something and I'm not going to eat, you know, a lot of people take offense to that or think that you've got to have something or whatever. I'm like, I'm fine. I don't like it, and I don't really want nothing. So in this dream, that's kind of what it was. My mom decided to just start walking. She walked out of this house, whatever room we were in, this house. I see her walking down the street, crossing the road, and I hear she's going to get you something to eat. And I'm like, no, you don't have to. No, I'm fine. And then all of a sudden, I had all these people from my life, my sister, my brother, my dad, friends that I've moved on from, all just start like throwing stuff at me and dumping trash on me, saying, you're making her go get some food. How selfish of you. And going on and on. It just was so over the top. I'm like, that's kind of like me holding myself to old standards of way of thinking, like being upset if I was at one time selfish about something, right? I'm like, man, this is so over the top. You're sitting here throwing all this trash on me and not picking it up, and it's splattering all over this like big TV and these walls and stuff. And then I'm just sitting there thinking, you're not going to clean this up. My mom's going to have to clean this up once she gets back. So who's really the selfish one here? And so it was just so weird and over the top. And I'm just like, you know what? Just let all that crap go. Nothing was ever done maliciously. And I'm like, people will have to tell me well, you used to do this, you did that, you've done this, you did that, and it'd be all good things, but yet I never comprehend that stuff. I think good is the norm. And when you act up, that's when you got to put yourself in check, or not really act up, but just, I don't know, be something that's not what you don't perceive as good. But I don't know, at the time, it was probably good for me to be that way, to get out of my current situation. But I don't know. So I just, I'm like, this is just being way overthought by me, which is a common practice. Just freaking let it go. Be done with it. Ballet and the Boys, the best of CD. Sold for $7, headed to Owensboro, Kentucky. So in the dream, my mom comes back. She sees the messy house. And I go, you didn't have to give me anything. I was fine. And she goes, no, it's all right. I wanted to. And I like talking to you. And then I woke up. I'm like talking to me. That was a weird line coming from my mom, because my mom was always the type when we would talk, it was like always her way or no way type of thing. Like she was always right no matter even when she was wrong type of thing. So I never really talked to my mom, because it would always end like not in a positive way. I mean, there was times where she would stop talking to me for 3 or 4 days because I made a point that proved her wrong, and it upset her because her way was the right way, and she wouldn't talk to me for several days. So for that line to be there in that dream, and then I wake up right after, that was very weird. Maybe that's what I wanted from my mom. Maybe that's what it was, subconsciously. Somebody who I could talk to. I don't know. I used to always like interpreting dreams, but kind of got past that over the years. Bob Kindler, Waters of Life cassette, sold for $10, headed to Maryland. Because I feel like most dreams are always something within your subconscious, trying to tell you something or whatever, or living out a certain feeling or a thought or something. So I was trying to figure that one out. Like, what did that mean? I'm like, maybe it just means to let it all go. Who cares? Almost all the people that it would really matter to me are dead now. So, who back then, who I might have been selfish to my mom or my dad or my brother. My sister's not dead, but she hasn't talked to me since my dad died, since our dad died. John Denver Greatest Hits CD, sold for $7, headed to South Carolina. And that's because she expected some money, because she thought my dad was living here for free. I'm like, there's extra. He had a 24-hour, 6-year-long add to the electric bill with his oxygen. He ate like no other. And anything he wanted, I bought for him. Or technically, he bought for him. And I just made sure he got anything and everything he wanted. So when he passed, there was really I was probably in the hole more than my dad brought in to the household as a whole for him being here, which I'm fine with. But my sister expected it to him not to have to spend any money while he's here. I foot everything, and then she gets half of whatever's in his checking account. And when that didn't come to fruition, I guess it didn't make her happy. And this included trips that my dad, paid for for everybody to go on family trips, you know, so he can enjoy some time with them before he passed. But she just thought I was going to flip 100% of the bill of taking care of my dad, and that's just impossible to do unless you're rich. Rock and Roll Era 1962 CD sold for $650, headed to Rockford, Illinois. Oh, what time is it? You're 13 minutes late. So she hasn't talked to me because of all that. So, what are you gonna do, you know? Money. And expectations of money, I guess. You can send a lot of people, can damage a lot of lives, I guess. Because just the one trip we took to South Dakota with the whole family, I think we put in like $10,000 just for that whole trip for everybody. So it wasn't cheap. Game of Thrones sold for $7, headed to Cherokee, North Carolina, which is kind of right next to that Maggie Valley I was talking about. So where I sit now, like, I feel like I have no blood family. At least immediate. So I always kind of blame myself, you know, like, what could I have done differently? But at some point, you've got to stop caring about that and just move on with your life. You just got to let it go. Let it go. So for $11, headed to Brooklyn, New York, Katie Kuhn. What you gonna do? Because when you think about it, probably everything would have turned out the same way no matter what you did, what you said. Because people will be people. Star Point cassette sold for $7, headed to Los Angeles. Like selfishness ran hard. It runs hard in the Helferstay name. I'm not saying everyone, but the majority that I know of, immediate, selfish ran hard, including myself. That's why I always so hard on myself, not to kind of leave all that behind. But now it is behind. Next up, we've got D jeans. Some women's button fly jeans sold for $19. Headed to New Berlin, Wisconsin. Dun, 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 dun. $13, $12, tree. Sandra. And her name was Cassandra. Alright. Review purchases. I gotta feed my puppies. She heard that. Spinning wheel of death. Spinning wheel of death. Princely labels. That's French for print labels. Print labels. So we're at 218. Oops. Like that. Like this. 218. And let me go international. See. Oh. I see you, baby girl. I see you. Nose bumping me today. Everybody generate. So $406, a little over halfway through my day. So if that keeps going, it should be close to a $900 day today compared to yesterday, my lowest day in the last 30. Hold on, baby girl, I gotta put all these stickers on here. And we get your food. Because you hungry. You hungry. Hungry. Hungry Jack. You gobble them down and the plate comes back full. Hungry Jack. So it's time to be... I don't know. It's just time to be real again. It's time not to have any limitations again. I don't know what causes that. Does older age cause that? Or is it the time of, the time we live in? Like everybody's always offended by stuff these days and such. Or is it a little bit of both? I don't know. But it's time to let it go. As my dream showed me. Time to let it go. Just as, what's her name would say in Frozen. Elsa? Does she sing that song? Let it go. Let it go. I actually watched that movie on the way up to New York when Adrian was in high school in band. And they played up in New York. So on the bus ride up, I remember somebody playing Frozen. I don't like buses. I don't like any traveling. Like if we travel somewhere, I want to be the one driving. I want to be the one I don't like putting my life in other people's hands. Unless I have 100% faith in you. Like I'll let Jan drive. There's a couple of my friends I'll let drive with no problems, but because I know how they drive. But man, if I don't know how you drive and I don't know you, man, I'm a wreck. Just let me drive. If I'm going to die, I'd rather it be in my hands than somebody else's. Right, Mr. Fluffy Face? Yeah, I can't go nowhere because I got to feed you guys. Right? Got to get you guys some food. Gotta get my baby some food. All right, thanks everybody for hanging out. And I will see you all in the next video. Later.